right, we are going to harvest honey. It is September 1st. And we have one weak hive that I don't believe did anything in their honey super, but the other one has 3 boxes on it, 3 honey supers. The bottom 2 are brood boxes, and these are big 10 frame, I don't know, 10 inch deep, 8 inch, 9 inch deep maybe, frames that the queen is just laying thousands of eggs a day in there, and there's tens of thousands of bees in this hive. This is a big healthy hive, and they had these full of honey, and so this one was about 40% a couple weeks ago. I'm hoping all 3 are full, but we'll see. There's been a ton of activity. If you look over here, it's not as busy, but this morning when I came out, it was just covered in bees there. The weak hive over there that died in June, we replaced it again. And look over there, there's hardly any bees coming in or out. And when I stood here the other day, 3 or 4 wasps went in and came out. And I should have put a reducer on there. I had it on there for quite some time so that if it is a weak hive, they can defend that small entrance. This big healthy hive, they can defend that big entrance easily. But I'm worried that I'll open that and it'll still be weak even though we replaced it and they've had 2 or 3 months to grow and flesh things out. But this is where we should get our honey from. So let's get in here. Let's see what we got. There's bees up there. Open it. Oh, where's the smoker? Hand me that smoker. We'll get some smoke going. That'll pull smoke up into the hive, and what this does is it kind of deals with their receptors. It gets in the way of them communicating that, hey, something's wrong. And it doesn't take much smoke to do that. If you want to film up in here, Matt. This hive is big on the propolis, this stuff. See that sticky stuff? They harvest it off of pine trees and stuff, and they seal up all the little nooks and cracks. And they've really built things out. So we're going to smoke these guys down and get as much smoke going this time as possible, since I'll really be invading their work. Okay. Where's that blower? Here it is. Why don't you hand that camera to her? You can just keep filming. Matt, will you work that blower? So you just pull the trigger to blow. I'm gonna hold this up and we'll blow the bees out of it as best we can right now. Ooh, look at all that honey. Ugh, that's heavy. This probably weighs 50 pounds.
From the top? Or
Either way. Whoa. I can't hold that at that angle anymore. Go ahead, keep blowing. Don't, wait. It's on dirt. We're gonna blow a bunch of dirt up into there. Okay, come blow off the top here. You can blow them off there. So there are I was gonna do it this year and I didn't, just because it makes it easier. There's a thing you can set on top, and the whatever chemicals are in it make the bees go down. And so I wanted to set that up on top and just do it a different way, but this is effective and it works, and the hive seems to be okay. This hive really gets after the propolis, so these things are, it's almost pulling apart. But these things weigh, oh my gosh, that's probably 60 or 70 pounds.
Oh man.
Get down here. Okay. Blow off the top there. Quick, this is heavy. Get down in there. Oh my gosh, those are... Well, they're gonna die off for the winter anyway. Like they'll reduce down to a much smaller hive. And so, yeah, you might lose some bees doing it kind of this way, but and a more experienced beekeeper probably would say, oh, you need to do it this way, don't do that. That's ridiculous, but this has worked for me and seems to be fine. Good night, Susan. There's a lot of honey in these 3 boxes. Filmed out in here. See those are big larvae. I think those are drone larvae, but I'm not sure. I always have trouble telling what's what. Blow this top off. Just gonna take this off because they never did work up in here at all. So I'm gonna leave that out, and this evening after they're back in the hive, I'll come grab that. They never worked up in there. I'm just gonna check it while I'm here to see the... Let me just check and see if they put brood up in the second chamber real quick while we're out here. Oh, there's a queen cell. Big old queen cell on there. I wonder if that queen stopped laying. Huh? Yeah, there's a big drone bee. I wonder if this queen died or was too lazy, because when we got the hive, remember how...
Where is it?
See, right there, I just broke it open. That right there was a big old queen cell. It was huge.
Oh.
There's a bunch of drone stuff. Well, I see brood down on that frame there, so... Anyway, I'm gonna put this back and let them just do their thing and get ready for winter. We placed this in June or late June. early July, because the hive had died inexplicably. It didn't have mites. We couldn't figure it out. So I went and bought a nuke, and we put it in there, and she was booming. The queen was laying in this box, filled it up, and then was laying in this box. And then as the summer went along, she kind of stopped working up in here. But I had thrown a honey super on there, and then they never did anything in the honey super. And I think it was just a weird hive. So we'll just let them get ready for winter. And this one, we'll have to see what they do. But there's way too many bees, most likely, to be in these two brood boxes. So even though we have a ton of bees out on the ground, that's just the way it is when you harvest 3 honey supers off of here. You're probably going to lose a bunch of bees, but they were going to have to die off anyway for winter because they reduced their hive down. And winter will hit here. I mean, it's September, and last year we started getting snow in September, so it's coming quick. So again, a more experienced beekeeper might say, that's a crazy way to get those. Use that thing on top and push the bees down. You order those from different beekeeping companies, but this has always worked for me, and it seems to do fine. What bees can and want to will go back into the hive and continue working with those guys in there. They'll fill out if they have empty comb for honey and get everything ready in there for winter. They'll spend the next 6 weeks getting ready for winter, and then I'll come out and put a winter box on that I build with a sugar patty and a wood chip quilt in there to capture moisture, because that's what kills them. This is ventilation, the front is ventilation. There's holes up on the side of the winter box I put on, and so it ventilates fine. They cluster up, keep themselves warm in the 90. They have to keep the queen at like 94 degrees or 95 degrees, and then they'll just move that cluster around, feeding on what they store in here and doing their thing, and maybe come up and use the sugar patty on warmer days. And then hopefully in the spring they're still alive and we get them up and going again. They get really strong. She starts laying eggs like crazy, and then in July or so we start putting honey supers on, and the whole cycle is swinging around again. You can come over and film over here. See them all. They're slowly migrating up off of here that we blew them out, and they're going in the front door. By the thousands, they're going back into the front door. Just slowly moving in. So. Alrighty. We got to.
Doing with that?
Huh?
What are we doing with that box?
I'm just gonna leave it there till this evening. We carry that back over. You can come over and listen. There's still some bees in there, even though we blew it out a second time. But what we do here now is we've never used an electric spinner before, so we'll have to figure out how to rig them up in here. We used a hand crank in here last year. The house wasn't even finished, but the garage was enclosed, so we did a hand crank. It took like 7 hours to crank out about 3 boxes of honey, which got us a full 5-gallon bucket without anything. So he's scraping the caps. Make sure you get, there's big thumb-sized pockets here where you didn't scrape the cap, and it won't come out if you don't scrape it. There you go. So like start at the top and just get all the caps, and go back through. If you see something like down along the edges here, there's capped, but it won't come out of those if they're not decapped. In. You can do up to 8, but we're going to start with 4 on this batch and then go from there. So turn it on, and then we turn this up. It's way better than hand cranking, huh? Or the story I was telling last year. They had this blower, and we were still building the house, but this was all enclosed, and him and his buddy were out here. And I came out, and they had the blower down in that hand crank, just spinning it. And as I came out, little bits of honey were hitting me in the face, and it was all over the place. But it was just like really pin drop amounts of honey. I don't know how high to turn that up.
Well, that made it come off a lot faster.
But you'll see it all up on the sides, and then it just starts running down. It should be warmer in here. I don't know if those guys ever got that shop heater cranking, but I should probably get the heat going. It really needs to be about 80 or 90 degrees. So we eased this up. We're up to 80 now. And it starts to get a slight little wobble, so we're kind of stopping there, but it's spinning nice and smooth. Again, with just the 4 frames into those easy slots. Those big triangular slots, I'm not sure how to set them just yet, but we'll figure that out. But after, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes here of spinning these, maybe less than that, we'll flip them around, spin again, and then hopefully those will be empty. You see, after about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, there's a decent little collection of bees here at the door, and a few around the garage frame, and a few along these windows, but not too many. Let's check one of those frames, see how it looks. Just pull that up if you can, right there. Just see if one side is somewhat empty or if it's still got a ton of honey in it. Looks like a ton of honey in it still. Yeah?
Yeah, I guess so.
We might need to get a heater on this. Yeah, we probably need it to be warmer. Should be coming out quicker than that. So we got the heater going, 2 heaters. You want it to be like 80 or 90 degrees in here, ideally, to make the honey flow. And my shop heater, I had some guys come to repair it, and they weren't who they said they were going to be, so I didn't have it ready in time, so we're having to use these portable heaters to try and crank the heat up in here so this flows better and it spins out faster. We got a decent amount of honey down in there, off just 4 frames. So now that it's getting warm in here, these should go much quicker. Okay, we have one honey super spun out, and so we're gonna set it in front of this hive. Nope, right in front of the hive. Okay. Right there. So that they can, man, big old drone there. They just chased him off.
What?
They just chased a drone off.
Oh. You mean a wasp?
No, a big old drone, big old fat drone. They might be kicking them out of the hive already, getting ready for winter.
Why do they chase them off?
Because the drones are just a waste of space in the winter, and because they have one job, and that's to mate a new queen. And so in the winter they kick them out.
Do the drones try to?
Okay, we're well into the second box, so I'm going to go ahead and let this go. I'm really shocked they didn't build this big enough to put a 5-gallon bucket under it. Wish I'd known that in advance. But start this coming out and let it filter out. All right, making good progress. We're halfway through the second box. Gonna fill the first jar. Watching the Dodger game on my computer. And let's see if I can do this. Filling this first jar. Second jar, technically. Gold right there. All right, 5 hours later, I'm filling the last jar. The last 3 jars, I'm filling these big giants so I can give one to my parents, one to my wife's parents, and I'm not sure what I'll do with the third big jar. And then I'll go in and show you all the other jars we got and tell you how much. It's close to 5 gallons of honey out of the 3 honey supers off that one hive. So if I can someday get a second or even third hive to produce, I'll have all the honey I could imagine. But it's been kind of fun just to harvest the last 2 years, the 5 gallons, because it's enough to give away, enough to keep, and it's just enough work for one day. And we were mostly mess free. We kept almost all the spilled honey on this cardboard and on my feet. Off my feet. All right, we got 18 of these 8-ounce jars. Really light honey. And that's 144 ounces. And then we got 25 of these 16-ounce jars up in there. And that's 400 ounces. And then we got 3 of these big 32-ounce jars, and then I'm working on a 4th one in the garage. So we have 640 total ounces of honey, which is exactly 5 gallons on the dot. And then when you add this last 32-ounce jar that I'm working on in the garage, it's still settling through the filter. Probably be done in the morning because the last part of it has so much wax in the filter that takes a while. I'll have 5 gallons and 32 ounces. So plenty to keep and plenty to give away. That's it. That's harvesting honey. One quick closure here. It's evening. We've been setting the boxes out. I've only set 2 out. I gotta set a 3rd out too, so the bees can pull all the honey off of it and take it back in the hive, what's left. So we've got a ton of bees out here because I took their 3 big boxes, so there's probably too many bees for the hive, to be honest. All those bees I blew out on the ground have moved back into the hive. They're fine. I'm gonna haul this in once they're all in for the night, because this is, well, I've explained that twice already. I'm not gonna explain it again. But I will also bring the spinner out here and set it here and let the bees clean all that off. They'll clean just about everything off of it if I let it sit out here all day tomorrow. And then I'll take that back inside tomorrow night, and then Wednesday I'll hose it all down and clean it all out and put it away till next year. Anyway, we got a lot of honey and I'm pleased with what we got. I am anxious to be able to harvest off of 2 hives, but it kind of is what it is. This one was just really, it died and then it was weak. When I put the new nuke in, it did really well to start summer, and then it's just kind of, it's just not all that active. I don't know why. So that's harvesting honey. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. And we'll close with letting you watch all these bees. Real quick final thing. Next day the bees are going crazy taking care of the hive. All those honey supers. They all just came back to pull the honey back into the hive. You can just see how there's tens of thousands of bees in a hive. They're buzzing my head. Oh. They're on me. Landing on me. And they're taking care of the spinner too. I came out earlier and they cleaned all the honey off the lids already and down into the sides. Couldn't believe how much honey they cleaned off just in one day here. So, pretty cool. It's always fun. This is almost the funnest part of harvesting, is the day after when I set the things out for them to clean it off. Goes in my ears now, into my ears. All right, tonight I'll come check those and see if they're cleaned out. And if they're pretty cleaned out, then I'll haul them into the garage. If not, I might leave them out one more day. Usually within one long day like this, and they take care of business. They clean everything off pretty good. Alright, this is the last part of the video, but cannot believe how many earwigs are on these hives, especially this weak hive. It's crazy. Still bees out. It's 10 o'clock at night, but I'm here to collect these empty boxes. It looks like they're pretty cleaned out. Still some bees hanging around. But when you take off the honey supers, there's so many bees that I don't know that they can all get back in the hive, so you just have some die off. But anyways, I'm gonna haul these into the garage. It looks like they're pretty darn cleaned out. I don't know if you can see down there, probably not, but there's not like that shininess of honey being in there. It's picked clean. And then this thing, ton of bees down there in that honey in the bottom. I'll have to clean that off, but this is really cleaned off as well. So I'll hose that all out tomorrow and get all those dead bees out of there and really clean it up. But they picked off most of the honey. It's just not shiny and goopy and sticky. It was just covered in honey. All right, that's it. I'm gonna load up on my four-wheeler and take them back to my garage.